In the headlines, Labour Party threatens to occupy Independent National Electoral Commission offices nationwide over access to electoral materials. Police rescue 14 kidnapped victims in Zamfara. Fuel scarcity bites harder in Bauchi. Residents blame independent marketers. And on the foreign scene, one dead as Cyclone Freddy lashes Mozambique for a second time. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining. And now the news in detail. Labour Party has accused the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of frustrating its petition against the outcome of the 2023 presidential election, threatening to occupy the Commission's offices nationwide over refusal to allow the party to inspect electoral materials used in the presidential National Assembly elections. Spokesman of the Presidential Campaign Council of the party, Dr. Yunusa Tanko, told a press conference in Lagos that INEC is disobeying court order by its action. Abbas Ibrahim Dalibi now reports.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has granted an order directing the Independent National Electoral Commission to allow the party to inspect electoral materials used during the presidential election held on February 25th. Yunusa Tanko said the order of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal was duly served on INEC on March 3rd, though the Commission's lawyer were in the court when the order was made.
The action of INEC under reference also constitutes, for all intent and purpose, an act of judicial insubordination and willful refusal to comply to the order of court. As we speak, INEC has chosen to obey the order of court given to it to configure the Beavers machine, which they are doing right now, and ignoring the order granted to us to inspect the electoral material.
He said the party also sent a letter to the Commission on March 6th, reminding the electoral umpire that it is to comply with the access order, treating that the Labour Party will ask its supporters to stage a protest at the offices of the commissions over the refusal to obey the court order.
We therefore call on the general public to note the level of lawlessness and bizarre disobedience to lawful order of a court by an important statutory agency such as INEC, and which is a well-calculated attempt to undermine and frustrate the presentation of the petition by the Labour Party and its presidential candidate, and before the tribunal in good time.
The spokesman noted that while INEC has refused the party access to the election materials, the Commission has started configuring the Beavers machines without the representatives of the parties in the case in attendance to confirm the data that is protected.
We therefore want to state that we will not fail in our duty and responsibility given to us as mandated by the Nigerian people to ask our supporters to march down to INEC offices nationwide in a non-violent protest, which is allowed by law. This is to curtail the flagrant disobedience to court order by INEC and any other institution who may wish to do so now or in the nearest future.
Tanko also maintained that Peter Obi won the election from the results submitted by its party agent from the polling unit, urging Nigerians to vote for candidates of the party in the rescheduled March 18 governorship and state assembly elections. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
And as Nigerians brace for the governorship and state houses of assembly elections, residents of Jos, the Plateau State capital, have decried the rising campaigns of calumny among supporters of the three major political parties. The trend, they say, is heating up the polity as videos, audios and text messages aimed at bringing down opponents dot the political landscape. With the poll now shifted by another week, residents are calling on supporters to engage more in issue-based campaigns as against character assassination. Ado Musa completes this report.
Determined to win the governorship election in the state, loyalists of the three major political parties, namely the APC, PDP and Labour Party, have resorted to spreading damaging contents against their opponents. While supporters are accused of spreading such negative content on social media, the candidates are, however, debunking them in their various media conferences in order to pacify the voters. Some residents in the state see the development as uncalled for.
My call to the people concerned and the stakeholders that we shouldn't do anything to jeopardize the relative peace enjoyed in Jos. We should remember that we are brothers keepers, and there's going to be life after election. Whether your political party emerges victorious or otherwise, never you temper with the relative peace enjoyed in Jos.
The issue of hate speech spreading on the social media is that it will further destroy the fragile peace we are enjoying on the plateau.
Recently, there has been so much hate speech going on the media about plateau election, which is actually very, very bad for the state, and is very, very expensive indeed to plateau politics. If that keeps on continue, it's going to endanger the hard-earned peace in Jos.
They, however, appeal to party supporters and other stakeholders to exercise restraint.
The citizens in Plateau here should take it easy and trust their respective politicians, so that we can maintain the hard-earned peace in Jos and have a peaceful election here in Jos.
The people of Plateau State should vote for someone of merit. They should shun politics of ethnicity and religiosity to not take us anywhere. They should vote someone who has the background, who has the record to change and transform the economy of Plateau State. So that is my candid recommendation.
The Plateau State government and former Governor David Jang recently traded blames on the spread of hate speech among social media users in the state, a development that many describe as unfortunate. Residents are, however, calling on all to ensure that the exercise is conducted peacefully. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Political analysts are predicting tough contests for governorship elections in some northern states, especially where incumbent governors are seeking re-election. In Gombe State, Northeast Nigeria, 14 governorship candidates are battling for the apex position, including the incumbent governor Inuwa Yahya, who is seeking re-election. Ibrahim Ismail speaks to Babayo Sule, a political scientist at the Federal University of Kashere, on the forthcoming governorship elections in Gombe State. The report.
The incumbent Governor Inuwa Yahya of the APC, Muhammad Barde of the PDP, and Kamisu Melantarki of the NNPP are the major contenders for the Gombe State governorship seat in the 2023 election, rescheduled for March 18. A Gombe-based political scientist, Babayo Sule, says the 2023 governorship election will likely pass as the toughest in the history of Gombe State since 1999.
You cannot even say this will be a straight winner until after the conduct of the election with maybe some hours or after a day. So definitely it is interesting, and it is an improvement in the democratic processes of the gubernatorial election of Gombe State, whereby instead of the usual business of just two contestants, we now have more options. It is telling you that we are now becoming more socialized democratically. And to me, it's an advantage to the voters, because it's a means to have multiple alternatives for choice if you are not satisfied with one party or the other.
According to Sule, predicting an outright winner for the poll is a tough call, as the three major contenders possess all it takes to lead the state. He called on the people to vote a credible candidate rather than leading toward political affiliations.
I will urge the voters to go out and vote for any candidate of their choice, devoid of any party, because party has no ideology in Nigeria. So therefore, I will not ask you to go and vote for party A or B or C. I will just ask you to go and vote for any candidate that you feel is credible at all the level of contest, that is the gubernatorial and the State House of Assembly election. Third, I will urge the candidate to shun politics of money, both buying, both selling, bribery, corruption in the process, and just be fair, accountable, and transparent, because that is what will safeguard the integrity of the voters, and that is what will make the voted officials to respect and honor the yearnings and aspirations of the electorate.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) scored the highest vote in the presidential election in the state, won 5 out of the 6 House of Representatives seats and 2 senatorial positions out of 3. The party's victory in Gombe State in the February 25th presidential and National Assembly elections has left many wondering what the outcome of the 18th March governorship election in the state will be. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And away from election martyrs, Borno State's Governor Babagana Zulum has paid a sympathy visit to the families of the 30 fishermen killed on Wednesday by terrorists at Murdolo village, Kambaru Ngala local government area of the state. The killed fishermen from the local government area had gone fishing in the village but were ambushed and killed by terrorists. A statement from the special advisor to the governor of media and strategy, Isa Gusau, on Saturday said Zulum met with the bereaved families at the palace of the Emir of Dokwa, Ibrahim bin Ibrahim Al-Kanemi. The governor, who presented relief materials to each of the deceased families to support them during the mourning period, also assured them of further assistance. Responding on behalf of the families, the Shehu of Dokwa appreciated the governor for the concern and commitment to the welfare of the people. Karimbu Kahugu community in Nehru local government area of Kaduna State was on Friday thrown into mourning and confusion as suspected terrorists invaded the area. The gunman killed the son of a Baptist church pastor in the community, kidnapped his wife and 3 others. The vice chairman, Kahugu National Development Association's Peter Mukaddas, who confirmed the incident, said the assailants invaded the village and went straight to the clergy's residence. The police public relations officer of Kaduna Police Command, Muhammad Jalige, could not be reached at the time of filing this report. And now to Zamfara State, where the police command has rescued 14 kidnapped victims who have been in bandits' camp for 68 days. The spokesperson for the command, Muhammad Shehu, said the victims were rescued by the police tactical operatives in conjunction with the vigilante group during a mop-up at Mahaye Forest in local government area of the state. Shehu maintained that the cause of the debriefing, the victims informed the police detectives that on January 1, 2023, at about 11 o'clock in the night, a large number of suspected bandits armed with sophisticated weapons stormed Ongwar, Mongoro, and Gidam Maidawa villages in the Gusau local government area and abducted them to their camp, where they spent 68 days. The state's commissioner of police, Kolo Yusuf, congratulated the victims for regaining their freedom and reassured that the police would remain committed to protecting lives and property of the citizens. And terrorists numbering about 30 on Saturday morning attacked Majifa community in Kankara local government area of Katsina State, killing about 15 people. An eyewitness from Majifa village said the terrorists riding on motorcycles arrived to the village, shooting sporadically and threatening to kill anyone who attempted to escape. Residents who spoke to Trust TV in Katsina said hundreds of women and children have fled to other towns and cities for safety. Hundreds of domestic animals were rustled in the process, while several shops were looted by the terrorists. Residents of Majifa and neighborhood communities are calling for the deployment of security operatives to help in securing the area. Attempts to get to police spokesman in Katsina proved abortive. And now commuters in Bauchi State have accused the independent marketers of premium motor spirit aiding the lingering fuel scarcity by undermining the efforts of the federal government towards making the product available. They spoke with Trust TV at one of the filling stations within the metropolis while trying to buy the product. The report.
Despite government subsidy on petroleum motor spirit, many Nigerians believe that there are some that are bent on ensuring that the fuel crisis persists. Some commuters in Bauchi allege that independent marketers are behind fuel problems in Nigeria.
Deliberate attempt in the sense that the people are very much, especially the marketers in the business, they are undermining the effort of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And at the same time, most of the reason why all this lingering situation and this fuel scarcity, it is just something that is so artificial against the interests of the masses. At the same time, I don't look at it like it is a situation that some couple number of people, or it is the federal government, whatever. No, rather than it is just some few people that are undermining any effort available as far as the federal government is concerned.
This alleged sabotage by marketers, some say, makes many to spend days on queues at filling stations without getting the product unless they cut corners. This fuel scarcity is biting harder with every passing day. We usually spend the whole day or even more on queues before getting the product. We are appealing to government to do what is right to end this fuel crisis. You can get to a filling station with government price, but you won't find fuel to buy. But when you approach black marketers, you realize they have fuel. That is the situation we find ourselves in. The chairman, Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Bauchi chapter, says instead of firstly accusation of the association, Nigerians should thank them for their efforts toward ensuring that end users get the fuel. In Bauchi State, we used to sell the product below government price. That means whatever is going on, we are helping the Nigerian masses to get the fuel at all costs. We knew what we are going through to make it happen. I believe no one can deposit their money and wait to get the fuel when it is available. But we do that to help people. We spend millions to get fuel to end users in the country. We are really trying our best. He also confirmed that Nigerians are buying fuel at a cheaper rate compared to other countries of the world and urged them to be patient with the current scarcity, which according to him will end after the 2023 general elections. Adam Imam, Trust TV News.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Still to come. We'll take a look at electricity supply restoration as it excites Maiduguri residents. Details of the story and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Trust TV News Update. A look at our top stories again. We told you earlier that Labour Party threatens to occupy Independent National Electoral Commission offices nationwide over access to electoral materials. And the police rescue 14 kidnapped victims in Zamfara. And moving on to other stories, and traders under the aegis of Imo State Amalgamated Market and Allied Traders Association on Saturday stormed the government house in Owerri to protest a directive of the Nigerian Labour Congress in the state. The NLC leadership had announced an indefinite strike in Imo State over the alleged brutalization of some of its members by security operators and agents of government. The protesters, carrying placards with various inscriptions, blocked the entrance to Government House, calling on Governor Hope Uzodinma to intervene and ensure the strike was halted as the livelihoods and welfare of citizens and traders were being impeded. The traders said the lack of cash, fuel and power supply in the state were already problems to deal with, adding that any other hardship on citizens would not be tolerated. However, the Deputy Governor, Placid Njoku, who addressed the protesters, assured them that the state government will do everything possible to get the situation under control. And residents of Maiduguri have expressed happiness over the recently commissioned 50 megawatts gas power plant in the state capital. Prior to the commissioning, Maiduguri had experienced blackout due to electrical disruptions occasioned by attacks from insurgents. Beatrice Kuruti has the rest of the story.
Maiduguri city is now experiencing near steady power supply from the national grid after suffering several interruptions caused by Boko Haram terrorists. The restoration of power supply in the Borno capital received a boost with the recent commissioning of the NNPC 50 megawatts gas plant by President Muhammadu Buhari to serve as an emergency source of power should there be any cut-off from the national grid. Some Maiduguri residents expressed happiness with the new development.
Because of the light, we have started feeling better compared with before. Because before the coming of this light, hardly you see us. When you come to the shop, you see us sleeping, sitting down, chatting, and that is all. But because of the light now, you can see that we are very busy. Even when you people come, I just have to attend to your interview.
In fact, we are very grateful, and we have got very much improvement in this Borno state particularly. Because we have here for so long, almost 1 or 2, getting to 1 to 2 years without light.
For the light that we have, we are very, very happy because we are using the light for many different things: cooking, gas, hot plates, fridge. Lights have different types of use. So most especially like this time that there is heat.
They noted that the gas plant, though not yet functional, will end total blackout in the state when operational, and prayed that it comes alive sooner than later.
Well, maybe with this commissioning this project, by the wish of God, they will get sufficient light, because they will say they will distribute this light all over local government that they don't benefiting light before.
Let the light be available, let it be affordable so that the masses can be able to pay for it. Because it's not saying that we have the gas plant. Yes, we will have the light, but if we cannot pay for it, it's still back to square one.
The return of electricity to the metropolis is a sigh of relief, as it will boost economic activities and also lessen the effects of the hot season. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
And away from Borno State, with the postponement of the governorship and state assembly elections to March 18, several universities have extended their resumption dates for academic activities. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had announced a one-week delay of the elections earlier scheduled for March 11 for reconfiguration of the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS machines used during the presidential and National Assembly elections 2 weeks ago. In separate notices, students and staff of several universities were informed of the new resumption of the academic activities. Now on the international scene, Cyclone Freddy has hit Mozambique for a second time in 2 weeks, killing at least one person, ripping roof off houses and prompting a lockdown in one port town, according to resident and local media. It was the second time the cyclone has struck Mozambique since it was named after being spotted near Indonesia on February 6, and at least 27 people died the last time the storm pummeled the region. The United Nations Officer for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said Freddy made landfall in Mozambique in the Quelimane district of the central Zambezia province as a tropical cyclone. He said there was a high risk of flooding in Zambezia and neighboring Nampula province. And water levels of several river basins were already above the allotted level, it added. State broadcaster TVM said that the person died when his house collapsed and that the power utility had switched off the electricity completely as a precaution. Also, Angola said on Saturday it will send a military unit to the Democratic Republic of Congo after a ceasefire had broken between rebel military and the government troops collapse. The DR Congo's restive east had witnessed a flare-up in the violence since a militia called M23 took up arms against them in late 2021. Going to the capture swaths of territory. Angola has played a mediator role in the conflict, but the latest ceasefire negotiated collapsed on Tuesday, on the same day it was due to take effect. On Saturday, the country's presidency said that it will send a unit of its armed forces to its northern neighbor. And this unit's main objective is to secure the areas where the members of the M23 are stationed and to protect members of a team tasked with monitoring compliance with the ceasefire, the presidency said in a statement. Luanda said that the decision was taken after consultation with Kinshasa, adding that other regional leaders as well as the United Nations are being informed. The deployment needs approval from the parliament, where the ruling party, which has been in power since the 1970s, holds a comfortable majority. No further details about the size of the force were immediately available. The move comes as a fierce fighting was done in the country. And then the Dubliner let's take a look at sports stories now, as Ireland Katie Taylor will be to become a two-weight undisputed world champion when she takes on England's Chantel Cameron in Dublin on May 20. And the meeting with world light welterweight champion Cameron at the 3 Arena will be a first professional fight in Ireland. And the Dubliner challenged Cameron to fight on Instagram earlier this month. She said that she will be happy to move up the weight and has now got her wish. Taylor, the undisputed lightweight champion, was set to face Amanda Serrano in the world title rematch on 20th May, but the Puerto Rican pulled out because of injury. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. For more, you can follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.